Good afternoon, friends. Today we shall start our new topic, that is preparation and management of ponds. Now, in last period we see about that the fish farm engineering, and for the fish farm construction we have need different types of ponds at the site of the construction of the fish ponds. Now the fish farm, it is useful for the production, fish production, and it is useful for the rearing and culture of different types of species into the pond. So the different kinds of ponds to be needed for the culture of fishes, that is the nursery pond, a rearing pond, stocking pond, breeding pond. These are the ponds is required for the culture of fish species. But before you start your culture in the fish farm, it is need for the proper preparation and the management of the ponds. Now what is the need of preparation of pond? Why it is need for the preparation? Because of that, as a stocking of fishes in unprepared pond, it result heavy mortality. The following factors are responsible for the mortality of fishes. Means you do not occur the mortality into the pond. Because of that, it is need for the preparation of the ponds. Which of the factors is adverse in the ponds, and that's why this pond is need for the preparation and it is need for the manage. Because of that, we are improve the production from the fish culture or production from the fish farms. So the mortality is occurs due to the some reasons into the pond. So that's why it is need for the preparation. So first of all, that adverse physico-chemical conditions of water. You know that the require range of the water parameters, it is useful for the growth of that species into the pond. But the adverse physico-chemical conditions of water, it causes the mortality of the pond. It should be used for the level of physico-chemical parameters is to be needed into the pond. Next one, the lack of quality and quantity of food materials. You know that the fishes, they have prefer the natural food as well as artificial food. But the lack of quantity into the pond, it affects the mortality of the fishes. Presence of aquatic insects and the larvae. You know that the presence of insects and larvae, they have harmful to the health of the species. It's causing different type of species. They are harmful to the fishes. So that's why it is eradicated from the pond culture. The presence of predatory and weed fishes. Now these the species like predatory and weed fishes, they are uneconomical species, and they are accidentally come into the ponds, and because of that, the presence of predatory and weed fishes, they are causes to the mortality of the pond. Then excessive growth of macrophysis and filamentous algae. You know that the filamentous algae and macrophysis, they have released the toxins into the pond, and these are fatal to the growth of fishes. That's why the fishes sometimes is a dead. So that's why it is need for the preparation of the ponds. Then overgrowth of phytoplankton, which may depletion of dissolved oxygen at night time. Means the excessive growth of the aquatic weeds and excessive growth of the phytoplanktons into the pond water, they may be caused to the mortality of the fishes, or it cause the fatal to the growth of the species. Now suddenly rise in temperature when water level is low. During the summer month, the suddenly rise in temperature Because of that, we need to maintain the water level of the ponds. Because of that, this is some reasons. Behind these reasons, that is improper handling of the fishes and the food material. Improper handling of the fishes and improper handling of the food material to be supplied for the fishes, its need to the maintenance and its need for the preparation. Because of that, all the factors are responsible for the causing the mortality of fishes into the pond, and mortality is affects on your productivity of the species. Next one, the types of ponds and culture stages of fishes. You know that the different kinds of ponds they are using for the different stages, different life stages of fishes. On the basis of that, the types of ponds, you know that the three different type of ponds, that is nursery pond, rearing pond and the stocking pond. Now first of all, that what stage we have to use into the nursery pond. The culture of spawn to fry stage. In nursery pond, the duration of that pond it is 2 to 3 weeks. The size of that pond is 40 feet into 20 feet into 4 feet in a deep. At once they have stocked the spawns, that is the stocking density of the nursery pond is a 10 to 12 lakh spawns per hectare. Then second one is the rearing pond. After the nursery pond, this stage of that fishes, that is a fry stage, they are put into the rearing pond, that is fry to fingerling, and the fry it is comes into the fingerlings. It's need the time 1 to 3 months. The size of that pond it is 80 into 20 into 4 feet in deep, and the stocking density is different. The stocking density is a different type of the species, or it depends upon that which type of species to be used for the culture. But the stocking density of rearing pond it is less than the nursery pond. Because of that, the spawn and the fingerling, spawn and the fry, that is a larger size of that this life stage of fishes is present into the rearing pond. Next one is the stocking pond. In a stocking pond, fingerlings to young one. There is a no limit. Because of that, here it is the fish we have to stock for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years, so on. The size of that pond is 294 into 100 into 8 feet in deep. The stocking density of that the rearing pond, that the stocking pond it is less than the rearing pond. You know that these are the two, that is nursery and rearing pond it is a seasonal pond, and stocking pond it is nothing but called as the perennial pond. Now first of all, that we have to see the preparation and management of the different kinds of pond. That is first of all, that is the nursery pond. You know that the preparation and management of nursery pond, rearing pond and the stocking pond, it is a same manner. There is a no difference in between that the three ponds, but only 2 to 3 points are different from this the nursery, rearing and the stocking pond. So first of all, that we have seen the preparation and management of the nursery pond. The preparation and management of nursery pond including the following steps. You know that these are the steps. All these steps we have to taken for the fish farm is ready for giving the production from the ponds. That is first of all the drying and renovation. Second one, eradication of aquatic weeds. Third one, eradication of predatory and weed fishes. Fourth one, that is watering. Fifth one, it is a liming of pond. Sixth one, manuring and fertilization of pond. Seventh one, eradication of aquatic insects. Eighth one, stocking of carp spawn in nursery pond, supplementary or the artificial feeding provided for the fishes, and last one is the harvesting. All these points are same for the nursery, rearing and the stocking pond, but only the manuring and fertilization of pond and the stocking of carp spawn in nursery, rearing and the stocking pond, it is a different. So these are the 3 points will be different. So these are the 10 steps, and these 10 steps are required for any type of nursery, any type of the pond, that is nursery, rearing and the stocking pond. Now first of all that we have seen the drying and renovation. What is meant by drying? Drying means the ponds it should be dry under the sun. It is nothing but the dry, and it is possible in during the summer months when the temperature is high, and it used for the drying of the ponds. At that time, so you dewatering of the pond from the nursery pond, and this pond it should be used for dry under the sun in the summer season. So that what happens is there only the topsoil of bottom up to the 40.0 centimeter is the reactive soil. Means this the bottom soil of that the pond, it is a reactive soil and at presence at the bottom of pond. Next one, therefore sometimes the pond is plugged as it is the process of mineralization. After the drying, this organic matter is a dry, and this organic matter it is not it is used as a manure of the pond. So because of that, the complete mineralization or the complete mixing of that the soil from top, bottom and the top of the ponds. Because of that, sometimes this pond is plugged, and it is the helps to the process of mineralization. Ponds free from unwanted species. After at the time of drying, it should be facilitated for removing the unwanted species of the fishes, removing unwanted of aquatic weeds, removing unwanted of different materials they are present into the pond. It is facilitated this with the help of that the drying. Then aquatic insects and pathogenic microbes, they maintain the physicochemical conditions of the bottom soil. Because of that, it is drying, it is needed, it is helpful for the free from unwanted of species, aquatic insect, pathogenic microbes, and maintain the physicochemical conditions of the bottom soil, and remove vegetation around the pond once. After this, the process we have to take in, these are nothing but called as the drying, and this drying it is useful for the renovation to be done by the pond for giving the next production from the ponds. Next one is the eradication of aquatic weeds. So the types of aquatic weeds, which type of aquatic vegetation they are found into the pond, that is in nursery pond, rearing pond and the stocking pond. So first of all that the types of aquatic weeds, that is floating weeds, emergent weeds, submerged weeds, scombs and the mats, and marginal plants. These are the aquatic plants. They are categorized under the following points, that is floating weeds, emergent weeds, submerged plant, marginal plant, scombs and the mats or the algal blooms. These are the plants or these are the aquatic weeds it is present into the pond water. Why it is eradicated from the ponds? You know that the aquatic weeds it is needed, but the moderate quantity of aquatic weeds it is needed for the culture. Because of that, the some of the herbivorous species they have used as a food for the fishes. But why this is eradicated? When the excess growth of aquatic weeds it is occurs into the pond, it may be causes some of the problems like dissolved oxygen duplication in night time. Means what, you know that the plants they have released the oxygen in the daytime and they have released carbon dioxide into the night time. So the excess growth of the aquatic plants into the pond, in daytime there is the excess amount of the oxygen is to be released into the pond, but in the night time they have excessive amount of the carbon dioxide is released. So that's why the it's problem for creating the respiration of the fishes, and these the fishes they are migrate from one place to the another place, or sometimes they have dead. Because of that, the moderate growth of aquatic weeds it is needed for the pond culture or it is needed for the fish culture. So advanced or excessive growth of that the aquatic weeds they may be create some problems like dissolved oxygen duplication in light, then restriction on free movement of the fish because of the presence of the large amount of aquatic weeds. The fish are not moving well into that particular type of the ponds. Then these plants give shelter to the predatory fishes. This the predatory and weed fishes that is uneconomic species, and these species they have provide the shelter of the aquatic weeds. So that's why it is eradicated. Prevent light penetration into the pond water. Excessive growth of the aquatic weeds they are present on the surface of water. They are obstruct to the penetration of light at the bottom of pond. Then obstruction for netting. We are not easily operating the nets into the pond. Because of that, these plants, aquatic plants, they have obstruct the nettings. They absorb nutrients and minerals from the soils, and these are the plants. They may be absorb the nutrients and the minerals from the bottom of soil. Then the competition for nutrients with phytoplanktons, means it is the competition of the nutrients they may be used for the phytoplankton, or routine toxic gases are released. You know the scums and the dumps and the algal blooms. They have releases the toxin. In these toxins it is fatal to the health of the species and responsible for choking of the fish gills. You know that the presence of the filamentous algae or different type of algae, and this algae it is helpful for the it is caused by the choking of the gills. Because of this all the problems they have created by the excessive growth of aquatic weeds. So that's why these aquatic weeds are eradicated from the pond culture, and it is the pond it is used for the new culture of the species. Now how the process to be used for the weed control methods. You know that the different kinds of the methods to be used for the eradication of the aquatic weeds, that is manual method. From this manual method we are used the skill labor and hand picking and uprooting the plants, and some useful for some use the sickles and the iron spokes for the collection of that the aquatic weeds from the pond culture. Next one is the mechanical method. This mechanical method it is not useful for the fish farm. This mechanical method it is also useful for the large water bodies like reservoir and the lakes. But in this method the motorized boats like JCB, tractor, or some different machines they may be used for this the weed control in the mechanical method. Next one is the biological method. In biological method, you know that the number of herbivorous type of the species is available, and they are the useful for the people as a food. The such type of the species they are using for the biological control methods for the aquatic weeds like Cyprinus carpio, tilapia, gourami, grass carp, common carp, and the Tilapia mosambica. These are the species to be released into the pond. It is helpful for the eradication of aquatic weeds. One of the popular species they are using for the pisciculturalists, that is a grass carp. Grass carp, it is one of the effective species for the control of weeds. And last one, it is the chemical method. So this chemical method, it is generally avoided by the peoples because of that the adverse effect of the health of the species. After you can use the chemical methods, you do not give the production immediately. So next year to be used for the ponds for the culture. So that is in chemical methods, that is 2,4-D, samazine sodium arsenite, the tapacide 80, copper sulfate, some herbicides, some weedicides, some pesticides, etc. These are used for the control of the aquatic weeds. Next one is the eradication of predatory and weed fishes. Why these the species like predatory and weed fishes they are eradicated from the pond culture? Because of that, you know that predatory, it is a predation. These the species they are present into the pond. They may be eaten by the spawns or they may be eaten by the fry. That is the predatory in habit. So that's why the presence of that species, the predatory species, it should be effect on the mortality of the pond. So weed fishes, they are the small size, uneconomic, occurs naturally into the pond. They are active competitor of the carp. They are predatory and weed fishes. They breed earlier than the carps, and the young ones of predatory fish feeds on the pond plankton and the spawn of crop. They are the competitive for food and the space with this the carp spawn. Means the presence of that predatory and weed fishes into the pond, the scarcity is to be required into the pond as a food material, and they are directly feed on the carp fry and the spawns. So that's why it is occurs into the mortality. They are removed by the repeated netting or the drag netting by dewatering and drying of the pond. These are the repeated netting or the drying of the ponds at the time of the summer months, or the some poisons they are used. But the common predatory species they are present into the pond like Chana, Gupius tentaculasis, Valago atu, Ompoc, Clarius, Batragus, Mistus singala, Mestabulus aromatus, Anabus and Notopterus. These are the species they are found into the fish farm. That species it is called as the predatory and weed fishes. And these are species they are harmful to the culturable species like Katla rohu and Murgal. Because of that, they directly feed on the seed, it causes the mortality, and they are competitive to each other for the food and the space of the carps. So that's why these problems is created by the predatory and weed fishes. That's why it is eradicated from the pond culture. Eradication methods are used. So it is need for the different methods they may be used for the eradication of the predatory and weed fishes. But recently they are present the some plant derivatives. The plant derivatives, chlorinated hydrocarbons and the organophosphates. These are three different type of chemicals methods they may be used for the eradication of predatory and weed fishes. So first of all we have seen the plant derivatives. Plant derivatives, one of the plant derivatives means they are originated from the plants. The Derris root powder. The Derris root powder, it is one of the plant and it is made up from the root, and it containing 1 to 5% of protein, and it is nothing but the poison, and it should be used for killing of the weed and the predatory species into the pond. It should be applied at the rate of 4 to 10 gram per cubic meter of water, that is 4 to 10 ppm, and it is the poisonous effects last for 4 to 18 days. and it should be applied at least 3 to 4 weeks before stocking of pond with the carp spawn. Then the Mahu oil cake. It is consist of the poison saponin at the concentration of 4 to 6%, and it is applied at the rate of 200 to 250 ppm. And another one is the sugarcane jurjari, and it contains the saponin, and it is useful for the killing of fishes. That is other plant material like tea leaves and tea seeds and the cakes. These are also useful for the plant derivatives. But these are the plant derivatives. It is nothing but they are occurring as a manuring as well as poisoning effect of the pond. So that's why the pisciculturalists, they have prepared these the plant derivatives for the eradication of the predatory and weed fishes. Next one is the chlorinated hydrocarbons. Chlorinated hydrocarbons, they are highly toxic, and they are useful for the large number of species they are present into the pond, and they are not easily eradicated from the pond culture. So that's why these chlorinated hydrocarbons to be used, that is the aldrin, dieldrin and the daphrin 20. These are three different type of the chlorinated hydrocarbons to be used. Aldrin, it is applied at the rate of 0.2 ppm. Dieldrin, it is applied for the 0.01 ppm, means very low concentration. They are highly toxic for the species. Now this one is the Tabdrin 20. It is one of the product. It is commercial product from the company, that Brahmacell company, and it is available into the market, and it has content 20% indrin, and it should be applied 0.05 ppm at least 6 to 8 weeks before the stocking of pond with the carp seed. And next one, that is indrin. It is also useful for the applied at the rate of 0.01 ppm. Then organophosphates are as follows, that is one of the thiamidon, DDVP and phosphomidon. Among DDVP, it is one of the product is available into the market, that is Nivon EC30, or it is nothing but called as the dimethoate. It is also used for the agriculture industries for giving the more production, and it should be applied 3 to 30 ppm. It is effective and more poison effect chemical for killing the fishes. Now this is the eradication methods of the predatory and the weed species. Remaining part of that the topic we will discuss in tomorrow.